want to show you guys what I mean by this. I'm going to run an execution and purposely have this workflow crash and give me an error, and then show on the other workflow that we got an execution from that trigger. So over here, I'm actually going to disconnect this just so that we only trigger this node. And the way to test this is we need to have the scenario active or in production. This is only going to work if your workflow is in production. And the way I'm going to test it is I'm just going to send a simple webhook to this workflow that will trigger an error through an HTTP request by making a call to a website that doesn't exist. So for that, I'm going to look into the webhook trigger. And first thing I want to do is connect it to an HTTP request, which is just trying to fetch a website online. And if I just type some gibberish.com and I hit save, then I can go over here and copy that production URL, which is what we're going to be calling in order to trigger that simple two-step node. Now I want to go back over here and I'm going to test it inside here just so that I'm not creating multiple workflows. So I want to use a manual trigger, which means it's going to execute when I hit on execute workflow, and then HTTP request, which is going to be calling that webhook that I just created. So all I have to do here is open it up and paste the webhook URL. We want to make sure that our methods match. So if you see here, the webhook trigger has a get method, and then the HTTP request also has a get method. So if I hit save, just make sure this one's also saved, and I hit run, you're going to see that it executed. If I go here to my executions, we can see that we had an error down here. And if I go to my executions for this specific workflow, I should see the execution I just ran, but then I also should see this error trigger being executed. So as you see over here, this is the manual one, and now we get an error trigger over here. And if we look into the error trigger, we get a bunch of information. And let me just go to schema just so that it looks a little bit better. We get things such as the specific URL of that execution that errored out. We're going to be using this to send it to the Slack channel whenever we get an error. We have also a message which we could add to that message in order to get a little bit more detail on what the error was. And we also get the name of the workflow, which is also very helpful to know which is the one that got an error.